Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my top 5 most carried knives now in August 2021. It's been about a month and a half, almost 2 months since I did this video, so a lot of things have changed since the last one, so I thought I might share that with you guys. Thanks so much to my generous patrons who are supporting me right now. There's a link for Patreon right down below, and please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. Let's go ahead and get started here. I will link this stuff down below if I can, but some of these things you can't get it's because they're sold out. First off, Spyderco Shaman has made it back into the general rotation. Why is yours green? Where do I get a green one? So I got the River's Edge Cutlery exclusive version of it, the Shavocado, right, where it has the FDE PVD blade, and it had the green scales. Then I took the green scales off of this one and put the black scales on this one, and then I decided I wanted it in titanium, so I took my titanium scales, sent them off to River's Edge Cutlery to have them Cerakoted, which I highly recommend you guys try out because their Cerakote program is awesome. Put them back on here, and then I decided, you know what, I'm going to spice up my old Shaman. I'm never going to get rid of this one, so I don't really care what happens to the green scales. So I put my old stonewashed MXG deep carry clip on this guy and the green scales, and you know what? I like it. It kind of spiced it up a little bit. This thing's super smooth from just, you know, being used a bunch. This is the original Shaman that I've always had on the channel, and I've been carrying it, and I enjoy it. It does need sharpening. It's the least carried of the 5, right? But I absolutely enjoy it, and if you have not experienced the Shaman, I recommend it, though keep in mind, it is overpriced right now, so you really have to want it. Next up, oh my gosh, I love this. Now, if I had gotten it more, if I had gotten it a longer time ago, there's got to be an easier way to say that. I haven't had this for very long, but since I've had it, it's made it into my pocket a lot. This is the titanium version of the QSP Penguin, titanium and 154 cm. It hasn't seen an extraordinary amount of use, right? But I mean, if you guys don't know, I don't take my knives out and look for things to beat on with them. I just have a knife in my pocket and I use it to cut simple stuff, right? So this knife has made it into the pocket a lot. This is an upgraded version of the original QSP Penguin, right? They have the base version in D2 for like 30 bucks. Then they have the Knives Plus exclusive version in S35VN for like 60 or 70. And then they have this version for about 95, titanium and 154 cm, which is still my favorite steel, one of my very favorite steels of all time. This one is tumbled and you know, in contrast to this boring satin finish that comes on the standard version. And then it's got a nice darker tumbled titanium frame. I love this knife. It carries very well when I don't need something big and bulky in my pocket. It's between this and one other knife that's on the list. This is a good knife. I have no problem with the price. It's extremely recommendable. And I would suggest you guys check it out. You can get this knife right now. It's really good. Really, really great blade shape. Really easy to manipulate with the thumb studs. Manipulate the frame lock, though it would have been nice if they'd kept it a liner lock, but they didn't. It's okay. The titanium frame lock works just fine. It's got a titanium pocket clip that I think is better than the original clip. It's better on the hands when you're using it and just as easy in and out of the pocket. I love this knife. It's fantastic. These run on bearings. The originals run on phosphor bronze. So if you don't have a problem with that, which I don't care at all. Yeah, you're probably going to have a similar experience, an experience that's similar to mine. Moving on here, this is a weird one because it's actually the knife that has seen the most actual use, but it's not the one that makes it into my pocket all the time. Does that make sense? A lot of times the knife makes it into your pocket. You don't necessarily use it a ton. It's just there, right? This is most carried. So this is technically a knife because it has a knife on it, right? But it's really more of a, well, it's a multi-tool. And that's the Leatherman Wave Plus. I have been doing a lot of stuff outside. My dogs like to dig. I hate that, but they like to dig, right? I know it's people like, well, it means they're bored. Well, I know, right? But as much as we entertain our dogs, and we love our dogs, they have a fantastic place to live outside that is cooled in the summer, heated in the winter. They have plenty of shade and water for all of those people wondering, do I take care of my pets? Of course I do, right? But anyways, that's not what this is about. They like to dig because they're convinced, in particular, they're convinced that there is something underneath my, I have a little metal fireplace thing that's just sitting outside in an area until we decide to use it, and then we move it. They are convinced that there is something underneath that. I don't know. They think there's hot dogs under there or what, probably because we've cooked something in it and it's dripped down right. So they dig around it all the time. And wider and wider and wider. And what I've been doing is burying I've been burying chicken wire, to keep them from getting too far. This has been great for that. It has been thrown around in the dirt. It's also been used to cut open, the bags of dirt that I use. You can see there I haven't done the best job of cleaning it off after using it, but these are tough. And if you have if you're doing a little home project, or maybe you're doing a big project, in fact, for whatever reason, I recommend that you guys, as far as all the multi-tools that are out there, I've looked at a ton of them. I've owned, not a ton of them, but a few of them. This is like the perfect, it's not like I'm the first person to say the Leatherman Wave Plus is amazing. It is amazing. These are fairly expensive at around $100, but totally worth it. You have your, your wire, those are replaceable, 154 cm wire cutters, and you've got your grips, and you've got a ton of other tools on here. In fact, I don't know if I really want to take the time, because I've reviewed this, if I want to take the time to get everything out there, but there's scissors, you got your flathead screwdriver, you got your little teeny tiny, your flathead, and then you can turn it over and it's a little teeny tiny Phillips head. And then on the other side, sorry, let me get that back in there. On the other side, we've got it's actually got bit, you can buy the bit set if you want, but it's a larger flathead, larger Phillips head, and we've got the can opener, of course, a whole bunch of stuff. These have been excellent. I've done a lot of stuff with this, and I have not been super duper nice to it. It's been thrown around. It gets cleaned out, but obviously it's not. It's just something that I generally keep it in my truck, but it gets used so much. This was such a great purchase as far as like the amount of work that I'm getting out of this thing, and it just shrugs everything off. Everything's been nice and tight. There's nothing rattling or anything like that. I did go ahead and buy the pocket clip. These all the tools lock, right? So that's the thing that's holding the pocket clip on. You can see there, you buy that clip, or if you buy the clip, you just sort of push it down in there, and it, well, you got to push it all the way down. There we go. Sorry. Let me demonstrate that again. Push it down over that right there, and then it locks into place. Not the best clip in the world, but it's nice to be able to clip it to my pocket when I'm using it outside. Moving on here, the number 2 most carried knife, definitely a knife that gets carried and used a lot. Of course, that's the Demco 80 20.5, still sporting a lot of the residue that is just ever present on this thing. I do clean it off. I use this knife. This knife is just a convenient tool now. There's no, like, the thrill of it being like, oh, the shark lock, right? I've got 2 actual 80/20s that one of them is a Safe Queen, and one of them I do carry periodically, just nowhere near as much as this guy. If I want something light, something convenient, something easy, I mean, like, basically, this knife checks so many boxes that it gets carried a lot. But the whole honeymoon phase is over. This is just a tool now, and it has been so wonderful. $150. A lot of people are, oh, in fact, right now, they've already typed their comment, $150 for offset A and injectable plastic. I can't go on with my life. Great, thanks. Save us, spare us, right? You buy it or you don't buy it. And if you want to buy it, you'll have to wait until they come back in stock. I'm not poking fun. I'm just saying I've heard it, right? For me, it's worth it. I bought it. I love it. I use it all the time. No matter how many people tell me they don't agree with the price, it's not going to stop me from loving and enjoying this thing. This thing is a fantastic tool. It works unbelievably well, and I love that shark's foot blade. It's just been fantastic. This thing is so easy to carry. One of my only gripes is just the end bill on the pocket clip. It makes it a little bit difficult to get it in and out of the pocket, but everything else is so great, right? This lock, it's just excellent. This is a fantastic knife. If you are, quick on the trigger, right? A lot of people say, where can I get that? You can sign up for email notifications at various retailers. They did a recent drop here on DLT Trading. I think they did one on GP Knives, and I think they also did one on Blade HQ. Fortunately for you guys, I've got links for all 3 of those retailers down below, so you can use my link, go sign up for email notifications at all 3, and wait and hope, because it's not a surefire thing, right? I mean, that's as much as I can do. But yeah, if you can get your hands on one of these, it will be worth it. OS 10A isn't anything spectacular, but it's not a bad steel. Injection mold plastic feels like plastic, but it's plenty tough. Everything is super well complemented by that fully ambidextrous shark lock. And yes, you can get a lefty clip for this. In fact, I think it comes with it. If it doesn't, I think Demco provides it. But yeah, extremely recommendable. I have not changed my thoughts on that. Number one, people have been watching. If you watched the last one, you probably know exactly what this is. And this is far and away, despite the 80-20.5 being, you know, probably the best tool, the best single-bladed tool to carry for me. I will go out of my way to carry my Roxted Higo 2, which is insane because this is an expensive knife and everything about it screams to me Save Queen, and I've talked about this before. This is the most expensive knife that I own. Brace yourselves, because some people are going to get really triggered at the price here. It's a $1,500 knife. What? You can go watch my review on this if you want to, right? You can hear my thoughts. I've reviewed many, many knives that are the same price, more expensive, right? This is an enthusiast channel, so expect enthusiast elements to go into my review. If you're not an enthusiast, there's no way that there's no way that the value is going to be there for you at all. But it is for me. This is a mirror polished ZDP 189 convex blade that will cut for an eternity. There is very little out there that can compete with a Roxted convex ZDP blade when it comes to edge retention. Even compositions that boast incredibly high edge retention, like your Rex 121s or your S125Vs, right? Your tungsten carbide blades, even still, right? People talk about ZDP 189 and they look at the charts and they look, oh, it's because of how this is shaped, the convex grind, the fact that they Rockwell harden it to 68 and they hand polish it. This is a case in point, you know, when geometry plays a major role. Everything is done so well that this particular ZDP 189 blade can keep up with some of those mega performance beasts. Now, am I using it that hard that I'm getting that level of performance out of it? No, not even close. This thing's just cutting open boxes and stuff periodically. I've said this before. The whole this being an expensive knife thing wore off pretty quickly. It just became a preferable tool. I like how it looks. I like how it deploys. It broke in super well, right? I love that. I made fun of this clip for being so simple, right? I was like, man, for that much money, this clip is just blah, you know, but then carrying it, I was like, wow, that works really well. That clip is just about perfect. In and out of the pocket, no problem. Carbon fiber and titanium liner lock with a steel lock bar insert. Huge phosphor bronze washers. I've taken this thing completely apart just to take a look at the inside. This is so easy to take apart. This is like an exotic Sebenza, basically. It is a joy to cut with. That edge is so ridiculous. It is so sharp. And yeah, even I think at one point I had a little roll in it. I think it was maybe, I don't know, 50 per side on this, and it was completely and totally back to normal. No nicks or anything like that. And, you know, the nice thing is you'd say, well, I don't want to scratch up that beautiful blade. I can understand thinking that. If you're cutting concrete, you might scratch it up, right? I'm not cutting concrete. I'm cutting stuff that knives cut. Stuff that's definitely softer than the blade. With this being 68 Rockwell, right? Even with there being like clay and stuff in cardboard. I've been cutting cardboard with this thing, a lot of cardboard. There's not a single mark on it. It just helps drive the whole, you know, it's like I said, this was an expensive knife, right? But the memory of the sting of spending that much money, which I had to sell things to pay for it. So I'm not the type of person to be able to fork over $1,500 at any moment. I'm not wealthy. I can't do that, right? But the sting of that went away pretty quickly after I figured out how much I enjoyed carrying this thing and using it. It's also a conversation piece. Whenever I get this out to, you know, talk about it with other people that I know, you know, are interested, at least in a general sense, about folding knives, they just love looking at this thing. And it's cool. It's really fun explaining, you know, what's going on with the blade and all that. But very comfortable, very easy to deploy, easy to manipulate, all that stuff. It just checks a lot of boxes, and I've enjoyed it. this is probably going to be a part of my rotation for a long time. I know it was, it was the first one on the list in the last episode, and that's because that was right around the time that I bought it. I hadn't had it very long, but since the day that I bought it, it's made it into the pocket just about every single day, and I love it. Fantastic. Guys, I think that's going to be pretty much it for today's most carried. Should I lay all these out? Would that be satisfying? Let's lay them out in order, right? I suppose we'll get the blade out on the Leatherman, right? So we can put it in the knife category, or at least make it look like a knife, right? A lot of people say, that's cheating. I don't care. That's just factually what I've been carrying. I really haven't carried much else other than these blades. They're all wildly different, right? But that's the fun of having a rotation, is having different stuff that you carry for different tasks or just because you feel like it, right? I don't always carry the perfect tool for the job. I carry this stuff because I like it. Yeah, I would imagine a lot of you are about the same. Anyways, please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.